Hello the internet, Future Ian here. In this section of the video I'm going to talk about the light kit that I purchased for this Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This kit is made by Lightling. I purchased it during their anniversary sale, so I got it for 50% off, which is great. It was still relatively expensive considering there's only a few pieces, but I think it turns out quite great. You'll see at the end. I'll show you some footage. I'm going to fast forward the video a bit just because getting inside the actual box is pretty difficult. So here's what's included inside the box. You get an instruction manual. I'm doing that in double quotes. And then here are the Lego pieces and the battery pack inside the bubble wrap. So here is the instruction manual. If you're used to Lego like me, then this will be a bit of a steep learning curve. We'll get into that in a few. So moving on into the installation of the lights, it's important to check that the lights work, put some batteries in the pack, make sure that they're all switching on. Mine were fine, so I moved straight on to the installation of the front lights. So this involves removing some of the front panels and bodywork. It's pretty easy considering we just put it all together, but relating the photos to the actual model is a really tricky thing to do. The instruction manual really doesn't give you any tips or guides or anything. It's just a set of photos with a hand here and there in the photo to help you reference. I found it was important to visualize where the lights would go in relation to everything, because the way that they're all attached into one piece via a wiring loom. So you want to try and visualize it, or at least place the kit next to the model so that you can see where you think things are going to go before you start removing stuff and start getting lost, because it's quite easy to get lost with these instructions. Like I said, they're just a set of photos. There's really not a lot to go on. You have to have decent knowledge of the kit. Installing the rear lights involved removing the rear wheels and attaching some of the wiring loom underneath the wheel arches. So at this stage of the installation, I had thought that I was complete. As you can see, the lights at the front are on and the lights at the rear are on. But the battery pack wasn't quite oriented in the way that I had hoped. And I think there was some excess left over in the rear wheel arches, which made me slightly confused. So I stopped the recording of the video here and I took some extra time. So I'd already spent quite a bit of time doing this, but I took some extra time just to review the photos again. And it turns out there are some lights to be installed on the roof, the interior roof, which illuminates the inside of the cabin, which is actually really cool. And you'll see some of those photos and videos at the end of the video. But this just goes to show you how important it is to really review those photos, try and put some reference to them. So we're going to wrap this one up with some footage of the finished article. I am quite pleased, as I mentioned, with how it turned out. It did take me longer than I had expected. It was quite daunting to start this when you open the instruction manual and you just see some photos, and you know, starting this one off is quite tricky. But in the end, it does give you quite a bit of satisfaction. It is quite a nice party piece to be able to turn this one on in the evenings and have the lights illuminate quite well. The LEDs are quite bright and it is decent. Worth the money, in my opinion, maybe not yours. I did get this 50% off, so, you know, it wasn't too bad. Would I recommend it? I think so. I did buy a same light Lighting kit for the Batwing, the 1989 Batwing. I am scared to try that one just because that one is so fragile, whereas this Porsche 911 GT3 RS is really quite sturdy. It's like a Technic, whereas the Lego elements on the 1989 Batwing are really quite fragile. I really don't want to touch that, but I do have a light kit for that. So maybe if we get enough likes for this video, I will do a little installation guide on that one too. So anyway, wish you all a good day. Thank you and bye.